cut the crap. Democrat Rep fumes after he's denied access to his constituent, wife beater and MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia in El Salvador. It's our top story for today at the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. Welcome to the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review, where we cover the top stories of the day. My name's Sarah Stock. I'm filling in for Elijah Schaefer today, hosting the show. And joining me is Michael Hennessy, Snowflake News on Instagram. How are you doing, Michael?
Sorry, I was a little bit muted there, but doing good. We have Elijah actually tied up in the back, so we're just kind of taking over today and looking forward to a good show.
Yeah, so this is our top story for today. This Democrat Rep Glenn Ivey fumed after he was denied access to wife beater and MS-13 gang member Kilmar Garcia. Rep Ivey spent Memorial Day weekend in El Salvador fighting for a criminal illegal alien who was ordered deported by immigration judge. An immigration court also upheld the judge's deportation order. Of course, that's a typical Democrat for you. Here's the video of him complaining about this MS-13 gang member being tied up.
I'm the congressman that represents Kilmar. I came all the way down from the United States after we'd contacted their ambassador, after we'd made formal requests to our ambassador to the El Salvadoran government. And we came here to visit him today. And now they're telling us we got to go all the way back to El Salvador, to San Salvador to get a permit. That's ridiculous. We ought to have a chance to come in and visit. They knew we were coming. They knew why we were coming. And they know we have the right to do this. So they need to just cut the crap. Let us get in there and have a chance to see him and talk with him. We got his lawyer here. We got somebody from the unions here to talk with him. Let us in. Stop playing games. Let us have a chance to talk with him.
So for those of you who don't know, Kilmar Garcia is an El Salvadorian national who's illegally residing in Maryland. In 2019, an immigration judge ordered an alleged member of the dangerous MS-13 gang removed from the U.S. Garcia was initially transported to El Salvador's notorious prison. However, last month, he was transferred to a lower security prison in San Salvador. According to a court filing, Kilmar Garcia is living at Centro Industrial, where he has his own fully furnished room rather than a prison cell. So, Michael, what do you think about this? Why are these Democratic congressmen constantly shilling for MS-13 gang members? What's going on?
Well, the one thing I know is if this doesn't get your blood boil, I really don't know what will. Unfortunately, the way the Democratic Party has been acting is they want to go ahead and put illegals before us. You know, we see here, this isn't the first time they went out to go visit Mr. Garcia. You know, and the thing about Mr. Garcia, too, is he's already been caught for trafficking people over the border. His wife put a restraining order on him because he was abusive towards her and she felt like her life was threatened. So it's not like we're talking about a good character here. And also, anytime someone comes over the border illegally, they're not welcome here. You know, his country he's actually from is El Salvador. We brought him home. We brought him back to where he originally came from. And as you mentioned there, it sounds like they have him in somewhat of a decent cell. It's not like the ones that's piled up with hundreds of people, which I've seen in the video. So it's very depressing. It's very sad to see that the Democrats always want to put foreigners first, legal foreigners, especially over the American people. And I don't know about you, Sarah, but I'm getting very tired of it.
I am too. And even El Salvador's Bukele commented on this. He was mocking the Democrats for their outrage over Garcia's deportation. He says, Kilmar Garcia miraculously risen from the death camps and quote-unquote torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. So what do you think about that? I mean, Bukele, I guess he's been commenting a little bit more on American politics lately. From his point of view, why do you think he would be so upset about this?
Well, I think Bukele, the one thing he's done is he's actually helped his country in tremendous ways. I mean, El Salvador is one of the most dangerous places that anybody can go to. And now he's actually he's cleaned it up. Some people may say it's questionable the way he did it. He had the military go through the streets, start to round everybody up. But we can't deny that it's very effective of what he's doing. And even when he got cornered, when he was in the White House that time, and they asked him about bringing Garcia back to the country, he himself said, I'm not going to allow terrorists to come back in your country. How would I be someone who can just allow a terrorist to come back into America? So to have our illegals deported over there, I would like actually to see more of that. I would, if he's willing to take them, especially if it's their country, we need to go ahead and send them there because otherwise it's not working. You know, think of the family of Lakeland Riley. Think of the other families that have been torn and ripped apart because of these illegal immigrants that came in here, sheltered by the Biden administration. And not only that, just were given rewards and perks. I mean, you know, I seen food stamps up to like 15,000 on some people. I seen them putting luxury hotels in Manhattan. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to clean up the streets. And this is why we voted for Trump. We voted for Trump for the deportations so he could bring America back to being America again, and we can walk through our streets safely.
Yeah, here's the pictures of Kilmar Garcia meeting with his congressman. I mean, does it really look like he's being somehow wrongfully abused by the Trump administration? I mean, he's quite literally sipping margaritas on the beach here. This is just, I think it's ridiculous. Like, why are we treating our MS-13 gang members involved in human trafficking this way when, you know, the American people, we've gone through enough already. You'd hope that we'd get a little bit of attention ourselves. I would appreciate a margarita on the beach.
I think we both would.
Well, here's our next story. It says they're losing their own voters to Trump. Latest polls take a surprising turn for Democratic voters, written by Michael Austin as an op-ed from the Western Journal. It says President Trump saw a surprising increase in his support among Democrats, according to one new poll. Quantas Insights found that the Republican commander-in-chief, long a polarizing figure that the vast majority of Democrats dislike, has risen 4 points with members of that party per Newsweek. The poll was taken on May 18th to 20th and had a margin of error of 3.1 percentage points. While the increase was a pleasant surprise, Trump still has a mere 11% job approval with Democrats. His disapproval rating among Democrats, meanwhile, fell from 91% to 87%, according to Newsweek. He also benefited from a jump of 5 points among black voters, 27% of whom now approve of his work. No other demographic had a statistically significant change in approval rating. Social media users offered their theories as to why some Democrats seem to be coming around to Trump. Most people who are paying attention see Trump as doing a great job for our country, no thanks to Newsweek's corrupt reporting, one commenter said. Because there's finally a politician who's willing to do something for the little guy, another added, something that Democrats have claimed before but have never shown us. Who hijacked the Newsweek feed? A third tongue-in-cheek comment read. But it's not just Quantas Insights that has Trump up among Democrats. In the most recent Civics and YouGov Economist polls, Trump saw his approval rating rise from 5% to 6% among Democrats, according to Newsweek. Last month, a CNN poll found that when asked who would be doing a better job in the White House, 45% picked Trump, while 43% chose former Vice President Kamala Harris. So why do you think this is, Michael? Why do you think it is that for some reason, you know, it's a very, very small percentage of Democrats who have kind of started to like Trump. So we don't want to pretend like this is something, you know, massive, but it is significant because you would think that Democrats would be even more upset about Trump, you know, running the country now that he actually is. You know, they have all these complaints from the mainstream media. You'd think that everyone hates Trump and thinks he's doing a bad job, but it doesn't seem like that's actually the reality on the ground. Why do you think this is?
Well, I think the Democratic Party has gone way too far off to the side. You know, I think that the Democrats are now seeing that it's a lot of extremism. It's a lot of identity politics. Even mentioned with illegal immigration, when you have these, you know, the black communities and the black vote coming up, you know, their streets were being flooded with illegals. They were even taking schools and then turning them into a place where, you know, they can actually harbor these illegals and taking over. And even this, the craziness in the schools itself for the crazy ideology that they're teaching these children, may be forcing the LGBTQ agenda down their throat or whatever it may be. And also prices. Everybody's sick and tired. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time myself trying to put just food on my table to help take care of my family. And the previous administration, they just gave up on us. They just allowed everything to run rampant, and they go ahead and send more money overseas than actually help the American people. So I think a lot of people can see that Trump is doing what's better for, you know, what's better for America by putting us first, by making sure that we are great again. I mean, we say it tons of times, let's make America great again. And I believe that, you know, Trump is leading us in that direction. So I think it's being recognized by, you know, all the Democrats who are actually seeing this for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they can complain all they want when, you know, Trump's on the campaign trail and he's saying these things, they're getting all upset and emotional about it. But once they actually see he's in power, it's like, you know, maybe he's not as bad as you guys thought. Maybe you should give him a little bit of a chance and just see that, you know, life is actually a little bit better under Donald Trump than it was under Joe Biden. Speaking of Trump, the Trump Never Surrender gold sneakers are a bold, patriotic statement with a gold finish and red and white and blue accents. Comfortable, durable, and lightweight, they're perfect for daily wear and sparking conversations. The Never Surrender slogan inspires resilience, making them ideal for Trump supporters or bold style lovers. Limited to 1,000 numbered pairs, they're exclusive and collectible. Grab yours at themagaoffers.com/GP. That's THEMAGAOFFERSDOTCOM/SLASHGP with up to 50% off using our Pundits link. Act fast because they're selling out pretty quickly. Our next story. Did David Hogg just seal the fate of Rep. Jasmine Crockett's political career? Written by Douglas Golden from the Western Journal. Is Democratic National Committee Vice Chair David Hogg's endorsement of Texas Rep. Jasmine Crockett as the type of leader the party needs worse for Hogg or Crockett? The answer is yes. I guess it's bad for both of them. This should put an end to the charade that's David Hogg's short career as a party bigwig, a role he's just assumed after years as a desperate, cringeworthy anti-gun activist. And yes, the fact that Crockett is the type of politician he prefers should reflect very badly on her as well. It is just as bad for both. In fact, you couldn't find a better political couple. I don't know. Maybe, do you think they'd be cute together, Michael? What do you think?
I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, but they do kind of fit each other. So I could see that.
Yeah, I don't think the two are attached to anyone else romantically either. So maybe a not so blind date is in order. Interesting. But first, the basics. Hogg, whose position as vice chair of the DNC, might be in jeopardy over potential revote due to alleged procedural irregularities that I'm sure have nothing to do with his pledge to donate $20 million to candidates in blue districts to primary older or more moderate Democrats. So quote unquote moderate. This is what he said in an interview on Friday, that he embraces the type of leader that Crockett is. Here is David Hogg on the Tara Palmer show speaking about Jasmine Crockett.
And you said that members of the DNC should sue him for doing this, since David is a member of the party leadership. He is the vice chairman.
I think he's the vice chair.
Yeah, he's vice chair.
Let me be very specific. I think it is abominable that an official of a political party who is being paid or supported by that political party to go out and raise money to defeat members of the same party. I think that's a jackassery of the highest level.
James, can you tell me what
if you want to beat Republicans, of which, of course, lefties never do, they never even run against them, that's one thing. I'm not into beating Democrats. I'm into beating Republicans. And I just will tell you right to your face, I think it's abominable that you have anything to do with the DNC and you're going to go and raise $20 million to beat other Democrats.
And you said that members of the DNC should sue him for doing this, since David is a member of the party leadership. He is the vice chairman.
I think he's the vice chair.
Yeah, he's vice chair.
Let me be very specific. I think it is abominable that an official of a political party who is being paid or supported by that political party to go out and raise money to defeat members of the same party. I think that's a jackassery of the highest level.
James, can you tell me
if you want to beat Republicans, of which, of course, lefties never do, they never even run against them, that's one thing. I'm not into beating Democrats. I'm into beating Republicans. And I just will tell you right to your face, I think it's abominable that you have anything to do with the DNC and you're going to go and raise $20 million to beat other Democrats.
And you said that members of the DNC should sue him for doing this.
Now, I'm not sure if this is a great idea for the Democrats. I would personally love for them to have Jasmine Crockett run. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be great for Republicans. So I'm not complaining about this. What do you think, Michael? Should she run for president?
I mean, if she wins, I think we got that one in the bag. Jasmine Crockett is someone who plays identity politics to the fullest. Even her accent that she uses is a fake accent. If you want to see something funny, go back to her videos before she started like blowing up in the political world. And she talked very articulate. She spoke very well. But this is all just her to try to drift towards getting more votes. Jasmine Crockett is way too extreme, but they think that it's kind of like Kamala Harris. You remember Kamala Harris would go around and she would, depending who she was talking to, she would change her voice. 1 second, Kamala Harris had a Spanish accent. 1 second, Kamala Harris had a more of a Southern accent, and it was always trying to adapt to whatever group she was trying to reach out to. And the one thing about Jasmine Crockett, too, that she said herself, I'm not throwing this out, I'm not just making this up, is that she says she's pretty much a DEI hire. And I think we're seeing that firsthand.
Well, we definitely are. Here is a video of Jasmine Crockett speaking at a graduation ceremony and basically telling students that it's empowering or something to hit people with chairs.
There are going to be people that tell you that you don't belong, and I am here to tell you over and over and over that you absolutely belong. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is a seat for you, but I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it. Let me be the first one to tell you that I know that y'all are ready to put your boots on the ground. That's your cue.
So this is just extremely ghetto. What would you say, Michael?
I mean, yeah, as I said, once again, she's just extreme. I know we have a few more clips we're going to be showing to her where she tries to reach out to certain demographics and she thinks this is something that makes her look well. It absolutely doesn't. You know, the party of peace is far from the party of peace. It seems like violence is always something they resort to. Maybe Hakeem Jeffrey, which is just dollar store Obama, or even during the summer of love, they resorted to violence again, saying that it's okay to, cause chaos in the streets. So, every time you listen to her, it just, as you said, if she runs for president, I mean, stuff like this is not going to get her elected. And I think the Democratic Party is getting tired of this being used as a tool. They're wondering why everybody's drifting away. I mean, think about Trump's cabinet he has now. A lot of them are former Democrats that switched over just because the Democratic Party left them. And these identity politics, these extreme quotes, they're running out of steam, and I don't think it's going to work much longer.
100%. Here's another video we love of her basically saying, we need illegal immigrants to be our slaves.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton.
I mean, that's just wild.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, they're openly saying the quiet part out loud. That's the one thing about illegal immigration and them always talking about, for instance, reparations are needed because people were used as slaves previously in the past. But then you come out and say that they just want cheap labor. They just want the illegals to come into the country so they can pay less and do all the work. And I don't know, if I was here as a foreigner, I would feel offended by it. But first off, I don't agree illegals should be in our country. But just the fact to say something like that, I mean, that takes a real certain type of person to even have that kind of rhetoric come out of their mouth. So just another Crockett moment, I guess.
Yeah, here's one last video we'll play, our very last one. This is Jasmine Crockett's response when she's asked to give a comment to Elon Musk.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Fuck off.
The leader of the global empire. We need Jasmine Crockett up there.
Yeah, I talk about classy. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of thing we want a representative saying. I've even heard Ilhan Omar have the same kind of language. Come on, people. We need something better than this. And if the Democratic Party, I hope they lose time and time again. But if they even want a chance, these people are not going to get you there.
Yeah.
The squad is not going to get you there. AOC is not going to get you there. I know AOC and Bernie Sanders is the one they're talking about now. But it's just crazy, the things that they get away with. Our elected officials are supposed to be someone who represents wherever state or, wherever they are as someone we can look to, someone who could be inspiring and a leader. But instead, we just get pretty much this is just trash, in my opinion.
Our last report of the day, Kamala Harris was furious when Biden went viral for putting on a Trump hat. Maybe you remember when Biden did this back in last September, just a few weeks before the election. So, yeah, this was when they were telling us that Biden, he's perfectly mentally healthy. He's perfectly physically healthy. Of course, now we know he has stage 4 cancer. Is that right?
There's reports that he has cancer. Yeah, I've seen those reports as well. Biden has lost it in many ways. We've seen the decline. We've seen the media tell us it was deep fakes and that he was just going a little bit crazy. But, part of me, I have to be honest, part of me, I wonder, because this is when they started to push him out of office. So this might have been one of those moments where he was actually coherent. And, I could see maybe she was pissed because it was a way to pretty much seal the deal for Trump to win the election. The guy had to know. I mean, there's a lot of things he doesn't know, don't get me wrong. But to go ahead and put the hat on during that, especially so close to the election, I do think that there was a hidden agenda behind it. And hey, it puts more in the favor of Trump. It gets us back to where we need to be and gets the country back on track. So thank you, Biden, for putting a hat on. Not thank you for screwing up our economy or opening our borders or just continuing our endless wars, but thank you for wearing a hat. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we love it. Base Joe Biden. He lost the debate and they tried to kick him out. And they're like, he's like, wait a second. You guys can't do that. I was supposed to be running for president. So he's like, you know what? I'll jump on the MAGA train too, if that's what you're going to do to me. This is what former Vice President Kamala Harris said, apparently in response to the video. She said, this is completely unhelpful and so unnecessary, which... I mean, I can see your point of view. If you're trying to run for president and then your former teammate is just like putting on a hat from the opponent. It's kind of crazy. Yeah,
just throwing the other jersey on. Okay, I'm totally in. But they muscled him out. They did. They muscled Biden out. Surprised that Kamala was the replacement, which once again, happy because she lost. Kamala doesn't have a brain cell for herself. She maybe has 2 more than Biden, but not more than that. So yeah, I can see why she was upset. But once again, I mean, Joe Biden, as I mentioned, they forced it. There's even questions about the signature he had to auto pen in order for him to get his letter to release, his presidency to her. So I just think him and Jill kind of got together, and I could be completely wrong. I think him and Jill kind of seen an opportunity and they seized it.
I would completely agree. Thank you everyone so much for watching today's weekend review. There's this Gateway Pundit mug, which I like to put my iced coffee right in here, but you don't have to do that. And you can get on the Gateway Pundit website where you can also read articles like this and so much more on gatewaypundit.com. Thank you so much for joining the show today, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. I think it was a good show. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was the Gateway Pundit's Weekend Review.